Skyrim sold over 30 million copies in its original form and still averages over 20,000 concurrent players today. And whenever you're searching for best games on Google, Skyrim always pops up, but you've never played it. But is Skyrim actually that great, or is it just nostalgia? Well, let's find out. Hey everyone, Game Grader here. Skyrim is an open world RPG game and released over 10 years ago. The game is all about fighting monsters, saving fair maidens, and unlocking more skills and getting more and more powerful gear, while exploring a big open world and an immersive storyline. As soon as you start up the game, you are entered into this really immersive and open world, and you have free reign over everything you want to do. You can go out and explore side quests for hours and get completely lost in the wilderness. And for the first few hours of playing this game, you will feel the magic and you will sense the appeal of why this game was such a big hit, especially for its time. And when you slay your first dragon, something magical happens and you will feel like a warrior god. In early game, you will run around with terrible gear, a little sword, and you're barely wearing any kind of gear. But as you power through the game, it is all about gearing up. The more you play the game, the more skills you unlock, the stronger you become, the more things you can tackle. You'll unlock more and more powerful skills and get access to more armor and weapons. There are tons of stats to explore and try out, giving Skyrim a ton of replayability. You could try and be a stealthy archer trying to sneak behind enemy lines, or you could be a massive warrior charging headfirst into action. So there's plenty of variety in content. And as I mentioned before, it is an open world RPG. That means exploring is a major part of the game. It is designed a way that you don't just follow the storyline. There'll be plenty of side quests and also random events occurring. And these side quests and random events are a massive part of the game. Also, there's like thousands of mods so you can play the game forever. Now, in terms of the graphics, the game looked fantastic when it came out over 10 years ago, but it still actually looks fine today. But the graphics alone won't amaze you, but they're good enough to the point where they're not an issue either. But where the game really shines is the music and sound design. The music is absolutely fantastic and is super immersive as well. But Skyrim's reputation is not solely based on exploration. It is known for its lore and story. The story will leave you wanting more the more you play. The story is based on Norse mythology, and the story is appealing because it creates mystery and intrigue for the player, which is also why the game is still great today. The graphics might be a bit outdated, some mechanics are tedious and clunky, but nothing beats a good story. The story is not pushed on you, nor is it rushed. It's set up in a perfect way that makes you wanting more, and then you chase it to discover the secrets of the lore. Now I need to warn you, there are some big cons in this game. Combat can feel really clunky and outdated if you try it for the first time now. Also, if you look at the game with modern eyes, the game can be very tedious. Especially the grinding and leveling up your skills can be very annoying. Also, one of the biggest cons of Skyrim is its replayability and its character customization. Previous Elder Scrolls had massive comprehensive class systems, where in Skyrim you have 3 overall paths. You have magic, stealth, and martial combat. And only having these 3 broad paths, it severely lessens your customization and replayability, and it is also counterintuitive of what a true RPG is. Also, while the storyline is good, it is overly simplified and lacks unpredictability. But does that mean that Skyrim is a bad game? Absolutely not. I think it's a fantastic game. Skyrim has done something that almost no other game can say they have done. They have inspired so much nostalgia and imagination, and even though it's a decade-old game, it is still considered one of the best games ever made, and still has a very large player base today. Also, there are thousands of mods for this game, so you have infinite replayability. So as always, of course, we're going to grade the game. Now, the first we're looking at is gameplay. That is the most important aspect. You can ignore almost everything else as long as the gameplay is good. So in gameplay, we're looking at mechanics, systems, and does the game work as intended, and how is the story. And here I give Skyrim a B. Now, if you mod it, you can definitely get it up to an A since you can eliminate some of the annoying mechanics and systems. But the base game itself gets a B. The story is definitely one of the reasons to play the game, but some of the buggy mechanics are definitely weighing it down. The next thing we're looking at is the graphics, the sound, and immersion. Basically, do you get these wow moments where you're walking through the game and you're just in awe of how beautiful and immersive it is. And here I also give Skyrim a B. When it released, I'm sure it would have been an A. But looking at it a decade later, you still of course get those moments, but they are less because you have more impressive games nowadays in terms of visuals. The next thing we're looking at is progression. And with this, I mean, does your effort feel meaningful? And is there a linear and logical progression line? And here I'm going to give the game a C+. Now, it has good progression, don't get me wrong. But I would love more customization and more different skills and abilities. Compared to the other Elder Scrolls game, it definitely does feel dimmed down in terms of customization for a character and your skills. And I give Skyrim an overall grade of B. So in conclusion, Skyrim is a classic must-play game. There is a lot of nostalgia about the game, but for good reason. The game feels truly immersive, and while the storyline might be simple, it is still great. And also with the amazing modding community, you can make this game fantastic. And there is so much replayability value in it that I can only recommend the game. So if you still haven't tried Skyrim to this day, I would highly recommend buying it now. as it is definitely worth it. But it needs realistic expectations for a game that is over a decade old. But the game will absolutely pay off and will be worth the money and time. If you found this video useful, make sure to comment and like it. Also subscribe for future content and check out the channel for tons of other game reviews. Also click the video on the screen now, as I think you will really enjoy that one as well. Thank you for watching. Peace out.